Hi guys, it's Eileen coming at you from Just Kettlebells, and this should be the last video in this series of the individual moves as far as training with light kettlebells, and most of us are stuck at home with some lighter kettlebells than we're used to. So this series of videos is to show you some variations to each of the fundamental movements to make them feel heavier when you're working with a light bell. So we've done deadlift, swing, clean, squat. Today we're going to do press. I'm not going to do a video on Turkish get up. That's going to take too long to demonstrate all the variations, but I do have an ebook already put together for that, so I will post the ebook and the playlist for that so that you guys can have access to that. And then I'm going to do one more video as far as the light kettlebell movements, and that's with uneven bells. So some of us, I know when I look at my bells at home, I have no matches. So this, the next video after this one will show you how to make use of two different size bells if you want to do some double bell work or load up and make it feel heavier. Okay, so today we're going to do press variations. I have a very light bell. It's a 15-pound bell. The first one is a hold at the top. So I like this. I tend to do this on my last rep anyway, just to get that feeling so you're not disconnected here. Let that shoulder sink back in. Make sure you're really carrying that in the lat. If you're too far forward in your press like this, you'll start to feel this in your shoulder, and that will be an indication that you need to get the bell back further so that the weight of the bell is coming right through to the floor. So that's a hold. The next one is 1.5 press. So again, a lot of these are going to be similar to the variations for the squat because it's the same kind of techniques that drive in the different pieces of the movement. So this is a 1.5. So we're going to come up to half, and then we're going to come down and then up. Or you can do it where you come up, come down half, and up and down. So again, those are going to work the two different pieces. I like this one better, where you come up to half, push, come down, and then push up. I just find that really gets you to work through this, which tends to be the hardest part of the press. The next one is a bottoms-up press. So we did that for clean, and we did it for squat, and now we can do it for press. I like this one for press. It really enforces grip strength and tension. And helps you groove exactly where that bell is supposed to go. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a Viking grip press. And so this is a little different. I'll come up and show you. This one you actually, so you're going to put your fingers in like this. So you're not going to be gripping. You're going to put your fingers in like this. So when you press it up, it really forces you to use less grip actually, and more tension in your lower body and in your core to generate that press up. So that's kind of a fun one. Similarly, you can change the grip to a palm press. So this is if I held it in my palm like this. I find these ones pretty difficult, and you press it up. You really feel the weight much more because you're having the full weight of the belt in your hand rather than kind of sitting on your wrist like that and hanging. Next, this one is really difficult. Surprisingly so, I guess deceptively so. And these are banded presses. We've done these in circuits class sometimes, and I've been surprised how much just adding the band to a very light bell makes the press a lot harder, especially as you get up to the top. So this is really great for strengthening your presses, and since you can just vary the tension on this as far as where you decide to grab it, you can really make you can make the bell feel a lot heavier by using the band. And you can't really see this in the video. The band is just attached to a heavier kettlebell on the floor. I just tied it around the top. Next, we're going to move, just like we did the squats, to different positions for the legs. So one that I really like is a one-legged press. So this is really good as far as enforcing that there needs to be a slight weight shift in your hips when you do single presses. When you do double, you're going to be evenly distributed. When you do single, you really want a column underneath the bell of where your strength and tension is. So coming up on one foot really enforces that. Here. Really forces you to keep the tension, really squeezing that glute, getting that hip tight. So that's one-legged press. And then we're going to go through a number of different positions here that will tend to make sense. So you can have a tall kneeling press. In the back here, your feet can be, you can't see my feet. Your feet can be toes up, or they can be flat. Like to make like a triangle, so it makes a good base, and then you don't want to be like leaning in here, you want full tension, squeeze the glutes, and then when you press up, you have this nice planked position, so you don't want to be folded or rounded in that position. Same from here, you could go to half kneeling presses. Again, you want to really squeeze this glute to make sure this hip is fully extended, and you can press. You could actually do it the other way, which is a little different because you need to generate the tension here, so this is more cross body. So that was tall kneeling and half kneeling. And then you can come down to a V-sit position. So you make a V with your legs. And here you don't want to be soft again, you want to really pull the tension up, pull your toes towards your shins, get nice and tall, so that when you press the bell, your back is flat, you're not rounded over. And then we have two more. One, as you can see, we're just moving on down, is a floor press. You do this with knees up or knees straight. Key here is really make sure that your shoulder blades are touching the floor and that your lower back is pressed to the floor. You want to brace here, and so then you're going to expand the diaphragm here and in the back, and it should press towards the floor. And then you're going to want to, so we don't want to be here leaning it on. You want to have this in a, just like you would in the beginning of a Turkish get-up, where your the flats of your knuckles are pointed toward the ceiling, and then you're going to push straight up and then come down. You want to make sure the shoulder is connected, so you're not pulling out here, and so you're not arching up there when you do the press. And then you can make these harder if you wanted to elevate your feet up. You can do that when your press is really forcing you to engage a little bit more in your core. And the last one that I will demonstrate, which is very hard, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to demonstrate it, is a Sots Press, which is, I'm not really sure what I call it a Sots Press, but it's a press at the bottom of the squat. So if you're here and you do a front squat, and so it would be pressing up at the bottom of the squat and then come up. So that one's really difficult. So there you go, there's 12 varieties of presses to make this light bell. Like I did those all with a 15-pound bell, which is a bell that I never would normally press, but I could see how I could get, if I switched to one of these varieties, I could get a lot of good work and good training and good practice to improve my press movement, so that when I go back to my regular weight with presses, my form is going to be better and I'm going to be even stronger. So again, thanks for watching. Everyone stay safe, take care of each other, and be well.